Hello everyone, it has been such an extremely long time from I've actually done a review. The last upload was like a few weeks ago of one called Midnight, the little noir comedy that we came up with literally the day before, and barely any planning went into it, and we filmed it in one night, and we're happy with the results, and we're happy that you actually enjoyed it as well, and then there was the outtake video too. And I have not done a proper review in about a month, and I do want to try and get back into doing analysis videos, but because of all the other film projects I've been working on at the minute, I've been very occupied. Anyway, let's get into the review of The Salesman. Now, The Salesman is the latest film from Asghar Farhadi, the Iranian filmmaker, known for About Ali, The Past, and also A Separation, which did win Best Foreign Language Film in 2012, a 2011 film, but won in 2012. Now, what many of you may already know, The Salesman did win this year at the Oscars for Best Foreign Language Film, and I really do hope people don't think it just won because Farhadi could not get into the decided not to come to the country due to the whole Trump thing. I'm not even gonna touch on that. I'll just not go near it. But I hope people think it didn't just win because of that. Because I have to be honest, this was my favourite foreign film of last year for the minute, next to films like Elle and The Wailing. But The Salesman, basically the plot is about a teacher and his wife who are both actors. And they're working on the play Death of the Salesman, written by Arthur Miller. Some Americans I'm sure have definitely heard of that. And so what happens is they move into a temporary housing area through someone in the theatre group. Then one night the teacher's wife is home alone and she thinks she's letting the husband in by the buzzer to let them back into the apartment. And she puts that on, opens the door, keeps the door open, thinking it's him, and it turns out it's not. So the rest of the film investigates what happens to her that night. Because basically what happens is she gets attacked and the next time we see her is in the hospital. The rest of the film is the teacher trying to figure out who done this and why. And from there it becomes a really, it's like a detective film, you know. And there's a lot of different themes going on in this that speak universally, but also might be speaking about Iranian life itself and certain values. Without spoiling too much, I would like to say a few things about the themes throughout the film. Now, what is especially interesting is how universal Farhadi seems to work, because About Ali is also that kind of suspenseful film about trying to find out the truth, and A Separation is quite the same. These kind of social realist kind of pieces, and they're very relatable. You know, A Separation deals with themes of relationships and just modern day living. And it speaks universally, it really does. A Western audience can find that a very accessible film. And the same can be said with The Salesman, because we have this woman who is attacked, and then the husband plays the role of the man in the family and tries to figure out what's going on. And basically she's given a back seat. And that becomes much more relevant. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that becomes so much more relevant later on in the film, and you'll see what I mean when I talk. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, the way it really does play on those typical roles people are expected to play, and it still stands true to a Western audience, but I can imagine this being much more critical for Iranian life and the rest of Euro-Asia and Asia, perhaps. And it's really tackling those gender roles and family roles, but there's also something very ethical about the whole film as well, because he's trying to find out the truth. And as the film goes along, it just becomes, you know, you start to question his judgment more and more. I really don't want to spoil it, so it's very hard to talk about this one. But overall, it's a really good, suspenseful film. And the things that happen in it, it's just amazing, because there's nothing particularly striking about the plots, you know. These characters are quite ordinary, but that's exactly why they work so well. They're social thrillers. And really, The Salesman is one of the best I've seen in a while. It might not be just as great as A Separation, but it's definitely up there. The performances from both of them are just wonderfully natural, and that's another reason why the film is held up so strongly. And I couldn't help but notice how great the camera work and the lighting was in most of the shots, because the camera seems to have a very distant, long lens kind of view on some of the things that happen. And there's some very interesting shots that kind of really draw attention to what's happening in the narrative. There's a shot that Mark Kermode pointed out, and it's whenever when she thinks she's letting her husband in, she opens the door and the camera just stays on the door, slowly opening, and that's when the film has its turning point. And I definitely agree with what Kermode said about it, because that's a very striking moment. It's quite a mundane moment, but it's a foreshadowing kind of moment as well as this door slowly opens. There are some out there that really didn't like the use of Death of a Salesman throughout the film, but I thought it was extremely interesting, and with the final shots of the film, again, I just don't want to spoil it, but I thought it was an insanely clever way to use the play. And sometimes it might not make much sense. I don't think the film's trying to make a parallel between that story of the Death of the Salesman and this story. I think it's kind of just looking at theatre in general and the way we play roles. Again, you know, it's tackling this idea of playing roles and doing that with the acting. You know, you're putting prosthetics and makeup on. As an actor, you're playing someone else and you're trying to play a different character. And I think that really ties into what Farhadi is probably trying to tell us about social roles. And again, I keep saying these buzzwords, and I don't want to spoil the plot, but if you've seen it, you do know what I'm talking about. I do highly recommend this film. I don't want to say much more about it, but definitely seek it out. It's a really great social thriller, and I'll see myself watching it again very soon. Thanks a lot, everybody. I would love to hear your thoughts below if you've seen it. I'm almost near 900 subscribers, and I've gained nearly 100 without really uploading anything the past month. So I really am grateful for all the comments and subscriptions that I've got. I love you all for doing that, and it's kept me going a bit. I do promise to get more content up after this video. I'll be getting another collection update and then looking at my entire collection. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.